Okay, I never knew. Hello everyone, this is Chixy and welcome to my reaction vlog. There are a lot of things that I would really to know that is in the UK. Let's get right to it.
If you clicked on this video, odds are good that you fit into one of two categories. One, you're a British person wondering, what the heck does an American know about Britain? Or two, you're an American, a Canadian, or someone that isn't from Britain that's going there for the first time and is wondering what to expect.
If I want to move over today and I want to just like understand, so it's the same things, and I'm so curious to what they are and prepare myself for that journey, you know?
To answer both people in that category, I just spent 2.5 weeks in the United Kingdom this past June, and me and my best friend Daniel have been reacting to British content for about 3.5 years. So those are my credentials to bring you 10 things I wish I would have known before I got to the United Kingdom. My name is Spencer. I am 50% of Embrace the Suck 21. If you like to check out the vlogs that I made from my UK trip, you can either view them individually on this channel, or you can go to my new vlogging channel, Spencer Joyce's World. You can get there by either scanning the QR code on your screen or clicking the link down in the description. I've got a full 3-hour and 15-minute marathon of all the UK vlogs, and that's the channel that I'm going to be putting vlogs up of my upcoming USA cross-country trip and all other foreign and domestic trips going forward. Appreciate y'all's love and support on that. Into the list. Number 1, the public transit system is really great in the United Kingdom. They have a good system of trains and coaches. I used mostly trains this time because they are a lot quicker.
Yeah, I feel like it's true because I have a few of my families there, like my aunt and my dad and a few other people, and they could testify that they have good transportation, like when it comes to the trailways and all that are pretty amazing. Very better compared to the ones in the world. I think they have
Getting you from point A to point B, although they are a little more expensive. Luckily, there's an app called TrainPal that I use to get off peak.
Okay, I feel like they're like a little bit expensive and not cheap. So
tickets and get discounts for combining a few routes. You can check that out in the description as well if you're interested in that. I'm not paid by them, but there's a lot of things that are very teachable for the United States when it comes to UK trains. For instance, if a train is canceled for whatever reason, one, at the train station, they will list out the reasons why. It could be fault of the train or staff didn't get there in time. They'll tell you what happened, as opposed to Amtrak, where it's pretty much playing Russian roulette with how late the delay will be and the reason for a cancellation. And 99 times out of 100, if a cancellation does happen, you can get on the next train that is headed to your destination. You won't be able to pick your seat, but they'll let you on. You might have to stand in one of the middle areas between cars, not like in between cars, but like the little area before the door. That's my experience with that. As opposed to the United States with Amtrak, where there's like one, maybe two trains that go between certain destinations in a day. One exception is probably the route from Washington, D.C. to Boston. Many of those trains run on a daily basis. I could be wrong about that, but trains are very nice in the UK. The buses and underground systems are very top-notch, whether it be the London Underground, the Manchester tram, the Glasgow subway. They're really great throughout the cities, and all the bus systems are very orderly as well. You can use your contactless phone to pay and get on and off. You don't really have to buy bus tickets. You just use your contactless card or a phone and you'll be good to go. And you really don't need to have a car. I mean, there are certain parts that I didn't go to that you probably would need a car, like exploring most of Scotland and like the northern parts of Wales. I've heard that. That's just people talking throughout the comments. That's number 1. Number 2, British pints hit harder. Now, the British pint is about 20 fluid ounces compared to the United States' 16 ounces. Plus, the ales generally have a bit more alcohol in them, which means the pints just hit a lot quicker than US pints. And in addition to that, from what I've learned from UK culture is that it's permissible for parents to give their children alcohol as young as 5 years old. So it's not a forbidden fruit and their tolerance is high for that. Whereas in the US, because the drinking age is 21, it's seen as kind of
like how old again? Like how old again? In Jeremiah, I have to wait till I am about 20, 21 or so before I could get myself a shot of Smirnoff Ice. no shot, like a bottle, like it's not a shot. Not that I was not the good alcohol, but wait, they have high. I'm just like, whoa, that country is amazing. I don't want to say the word, but whoa. Okay, let's go right into this video.
of a forbidden fruit here. That's why the combination of those two pieces of information make it so that alcohol hits us a lot differently, and usually we have less alcohol in our alcoholic beverages here in the United States. But the drinking culture is prevalent. Like, pubs are where the community gathers to catch up and debate the topics of the day, and it's part of the culture over there, as opposed to the United States, where we really don't have that as much. That's something I really miss about the UK. Number 3, you can eat very well, very cheaply. And the 3 examples I'm going to give here are meal deals from places like Tesco, Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer, a couple other stores, and they range from £3 to £5, and it comes with, a sandwich, bag of chips, crisps, and a drink. That allowed me to pinch pennies and really stretch my budget, since that was most of my meals. In addition to Greg's, for any non-Brits, Greg's, it's, to the Americans, I would describe it as a mixture of Panera's food with the aesthetic and convenience of Dunkin' Donuts. I would recommend the sausage roll, steak bake, or the chicken bake if that's more your thing. They even have vegan sausage rolls. I didn't try that, but I'm assuming it will be just as good. And I never spent more than £4 or £5 on breakfast. And the last thing, and this is going to get people very opinionated, is Weatherspoons. I don't care what anybody says. Weatherspoons is amazing. For those who don't know, Weatherspoons, it's a chain of pubs around the United Kingdom and I think Ireland as well. The food and the pints are very cheap, between £3 and £5. I mean, it's like microwave food. I would compare it in the States of, say, Applebee's or TGI Fridays. If you're on a budget, it's a good option for you to get wasted and get some quick grub into you. Also, if you're feeling really spicy, there is this Facebook group called the Weatherspoons Game where you can post your table number and which pub you're in, give a sob story, and people could send you stuff. Play it at your own risk. I did a video on it. It's in the Cardiff episode. Lord, it got out of hand really quickly, and I had to tell people that I left about 30 minutes in. So play it at your own risk. Again, very cheap option, and it allowed me to indulge in a few other things, like some Indian at Dishoom in Manchester, an afternoon tea in Bath, things like that. So you can eat very good in the United Kingdom. As a little side note of that, UK food is delicious. I am very sorry that some Americans spread the nasty rumor that all British food was bad because during World War II they had to ration out, and that's what Americans were eating around that place, and they got the idea that all British food was bad and spread that around the world. For that, Britain, I apologize on behalf of all Americans. Number 4 is an abundance of historical stuff just walking down the street. It's easy to walk down any street in the United Kingdom, no matter where you are, and see like a church, a castle, or a pub that's older than all the United States. I'll give you an example. In Bolton, my buddy Ad Crow took me to the Man and Seth pub. pub. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is one of the oldest pubs in the UK. It dates back to 1251. And for context, the two oldest American settlements, St. Augustine in Florida and Jamestown in Virginia, they date back to both 1565 and 1607 respectively. I could give multiple examples of that, but if I did, it would be a much longer video than it already is, and I'm not trying to make this super long. Number 5, the more north you go, the cheaper things get, the friendlier people become, and the harder the accents are to understand. Most of the money I spent was in London and Bath on regular things in the grocery stores and pints, transit in general. But then again, that's to be expected in London. A big city is a big city is a big city. I didn't really expect that in Bath just because I really hadn't done a lot of research on the area. Both felt kind of touristy to a fault. And I say that because even the quote-unquote touristy things I did in more northern places were very worth it in my eyes. And I'm talking the football museum in Manchester, all the Beatles landmarks in Liverpool, Beamish in County Durham, outside Newcastle. I would say all of those are very worth it. I'd even throw the mural walk in Glasgow in there as well. It doesn't seem as much commercialized and doesn't seem like they're out to get your money, if that makes any sense. They really want to be sure you have a good time.
Okay, my little secret, I'm going to love the UK. I love cheap food, I love cheap stuff. Don't worry about the accent, we'll figure that out, but we have food to eat. You told me the accent is so thick, like you can barely, you don't worry. If there is food, there is understanding. Thank you. I really need to go to that country, the UK, and have cheap food. We're going to do that. That's our little secret. Don't tell anyone. No one should know. We like cheap food. Food.
And yeah, the accents, had I not been trained on, say, the Beatles for Scousers, Oasis for Mancunians, Sarah Millican for Geordies, and Billy Connolly for Glaswegians, I probably would have had a much harder time understanding the accents. That's just something to think about if you are not used to UK accents. I could definitely understand people in, London, Bath, Cardiff, Swansea. More north you go to the untrained American or Canadian ear, it might be a little harder to understand. Number 6, the weather. I came in June 2024, and many people were saying, even apologizing for it being one of the coldest starts to the summer that they have seen in a very long time. Temperatures were hovering around 55 to 65 Fahrenheit, about 13 to 19 Celsius the whole time, which means I had to keep my jumper on for most of it. And luckily, that's an iconic jumper that I had on for most of it, and that's why I let my hair down, which is what I'm going to do for the second half of this. Y'all just gonna have to deal with it. And what y'all said about the rain was true, although I feel like it was a little bit exaggerated, because what I was expecting was like torrential downpours, but really it was just a couple of sprinkles every now and again, and I didn't really experience it that much. I'd say like 3, maybe 4 times throughout my 16 days there. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. Number 7, walkability. Everything you need. Corner shops, pubs, train stations, buses, government buildings, mail, things like that, all are really within a walking distance of where you are staying. This helped me understand why so many Brits that I talk to, that when I say, oh, I drove 5 hours to see Daniel up in Washington, D.C., and they almost have a heart attack, because that's such a strange concept to them. And now I get it, because y'all have done a great job, and I'm pretty sure this is the same in a lot of European countries, is that you have built cities to be very walkable, where you don't really need cars. If I lived in Britain, I probably wouldn't own a car. My perspective on it is someone who has lived in rural southern towns and suburbia for all my life, and I've never really lived in a big city where you didn't need to own a car and everything was accessible by public transit. That's just a really foreign concept to me, and it's also a really appealing concept to me at the same time, but that's for another video. Number 8, how tribal people in Britain can get from town to town. This is something I really didn't need explained to me after checking out a bunch of football videos and rugby videos, but for someone who has not experienced it before, it's something you definitely need to know. All I really ask is just be aware of certain colloquialisms and the history of not only the town you're in, but also their relationship to another town. Liverpool versus Manchester, for example. Even in old cities like Glasgow, check out the old firm Rangers v Celtic. I almost got my butt kicked in Cardiff for talking so highly of Swansea without knowing their bitter rugby and football rivalries. Also learned some people in the Newcastle area don't consider themselves Geordies, and many Liverpudlians don't consider themselves English or British. So it helps to do your research.
I'm in Man United. I'm literally in Man I'm literally in Man United fan. Wait a minute. I'm literally a Man United fan. So if I get to Manchester United, like what am I saying? Manchester United. Yeah. If I get that, I'm gonna scream so hard.
And don't have the wrong football jersey on in a pub in a certain city. Just don't do it. Do your research. We all have Google here. Now, this next point can contradict the last point I made. Number 9, how friendly everyone is. Despite what I said in the previous bit, I found most everyone I talked to in the UK, young or old, northern or southern, drunk or sober, were dead easy to talk to. And it didn't matter the situation. You could be lost and you need directions to somewhere, or you're just a stranger in a new place looking for a good time. You can approach pretty much anybody, and not only will they be friendly, but they'll make sure that you're safe and they'll be sure you have a great time. So my suggestion is don't have a tight agenda in any city, and maybe have a few ideas of what you want to do, but let yourself be whisked away by a Brit. Not in that way. Obviously stay safe. There are a few nutters out there, but for the most part, you make friends with a Brit, you have a friend for life, and your day is going to be awesome. Lastly, number 10, it is impossible to see all of the UK in one trip. Obviously, you can't explore any country or any state in 16 days, and there's no way for me to make my 67% British audience 100% happy. But at the same time, don't try to do it all in one trip. I'm heartbroken that I had to leave off places like York, Brighton, Cornwall, Leeds, Edinburgh, and Wrexham, but that just means I have to come back. And considering the other 9 things on the list, I'm looking forward to doing that in 2025. Also, a bonus one. This is for the British audience of the specific time. I wish I would have known that Taylor Swift was coming. Kind of put a damper on a couple of the places I went. Not too much, but still, if y'all can't let me live down the whole Jimmy Savile thing, then I'm not gonna let y'all live down the whole Taylor Swift thing. Y'all know I love y'all, and I can't wait to be back soon. In the comments below, let me know, what did I miss? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Also, consider subscribing and watching another video. Thank y'all channel members for your support, and remember, go support my new vlogging channel by either scanning this QR code or going down to the link in the description. Love y'all. Thank you for changing my life. Wash your hands, scrub your toes, wipe your ass, blow your nose, embrace that suck, unplug, go do something legendary.
Link down
See you
below
in the next
to
video.
his channel. Okay. I love the song. I love dancing. I'm just dancing. Okay, alright. Okay, if you love what you just watched, don't forget to subscribe to his channel. I'm gonna leave the link down below so you can find his channel, subscribe to it, and do all his amazing channel he's mentioned on that video. But trust me, this is one of the favorite things I love about it is the drink and the food and the fact that well, I just need to go to the north parts of the UK and get cheaper food. Who do that at later? Like, don't worry, food, the ears will open and you won't stand. Don't worry, get it. You know, without food, there is no enjoyment without cheap food, specifically. So, that's So if you like this video, like, subscribe, don't forget to leave, comment down below, don't forget to thumbs down to like this video, don't forget to subscribe. I love you so much. Until then, guys, let's keep the history alive and let's keep the mystery, let's keep the music, let's keep rooted alive. Life goes on.